LG is going to show me all their hot new OLED stuff.
Yeah, how long? You're just going to take the helicopters and shit when you're there?
3 days.
Oh, fuck.
So if they fly you out there, but you don't get first
We
class,
just go live.
No, I did last time, but I don't think I will this next time.
Can you like throw a fit or something and like get it?
I could whine and moan.
Yeah.
And, you know, I might try that.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's a long flight.
I mean, it is a long flight. I mean, what are you going to do?
And
Play the Switch.
exactly. That's the whole idea.
You can
Maybe
get through
I
like
it in.
1/6 of Zelda, I think, in that amount of time.
Yeah.
See, I'm so so out of the gaming world that I don't even know what game I would start with or whatever.
I think you could just dive into Zelda and you'd be fine. Like, what else is offered on the Switch that's like that's a must buy?
What is it? An 8 hour? Okay, I know we're going live here. That's an 8 hour flight.
It's 14 to 16
14
hours.
to 16, yeah. So play Zelda, you'll find the Dutch angle, it'll be perfect.
Yeah.
You know, that's how plenty of time.
Unearth the Dutch angle.
Hello, everyone. This is Trends with Methods. This is our weekly roundtable podcast where we gather a roundtable of experts here at Digital Trends to talk about the tech topics of the day. We are live on YouTube for this show right now, and then, of course, available as a podcast that you can download on iTunes wherever you get podcasts. We have a lot of stuff to get through today. We're going to be talking about, let's see here, we've got the new Oculus that we're going to be discussing, or some of their announcements about virtual reality. We've got legalized online gambling. We've got Disney's all movies in one place. I am going to end with some silicon robot hands, and I'll explain that later. But first off, we're going to talk
always end
about
with something crazy.
Always end with that. First off, though, we're going to be discussing the scandal, the big scandal of the week. I don't know if it's a scandal. I'm just going to say that to be divisive. But it is the Google Home Mini, and you may have seen this about the Google Home Mini that was caught recording all of your conversations. One person. Just one person, but that's been found out so far. However, we're going to be discussing that and just kind of home assistance and whether that affects your thoughts on those and whether you're worried about them spying on you, quite honestly. So let's get our roundtable in here. I'm Greg Nibbler, and to my right,
Rick Stella, I run the outdoor section here. Excellent. Also known as the Dutch angle.
I like it.
That might have to be it. Yes.
Is that better than
what was it? Yeah, Man Crush Monday.
Metro Man Cake.
Metro Man Cake.
Dutch angle is better.
Yeah,
Dutch angle's pretty good.
Once we're getting comments again, we can see how that one plays out.
Yeah.
Kind of weigh the two against each other.
Vote. All right, and to Rick's right.
I'm Brendan. I'm a writer for the AV section.
Excellent. Hello, Brendan. And you don't have a nickname at all. We're going to have to work on that.
We call him Bramford in the bullpen.
Bramford? Right.
Just because there's several Brandons and Brendans and Brendas. And
let's do it.
Yeah, Bramford. Yeah.
Bramford in the house.
Yep.
Okay, and on the end.
The Whiskey Mist.
A.K.A. Caleb Gaddis. Now I'm making you in like a wrestler name.
Yeah, right? That's the Whiskey Mist music. Yeah, how he comes.
Well, so that's eventually we're going to get to that. We'll have our own intro music.
Yeah.
Have to
Come in through
march
the door.
through the
Yeah,
office.
we're in our own jerseys and
yeah,
shit.
it's going to be like that. We'll have fans that'll clap hands. All right, so let's get to the topics at hand, though. So this Google Mini thing. So here's basically what happened. There is a writer for Android Police, I believe is the name of the site, and of all
Super
people,
popular site, yeah.
Yep.
And of all people for this to happen to, for Google's sake, this guy got a Google Home Mini, was trying it out. His name's Artem Rusakovsky. And
Well done.
Yeah. Yep. I think. I don't know. I just kind of molded over it now that you said it. I'm sure I did it wrong. So, the Google Assistant, the way it's supposed to work is you say, hey, Google, and that's when it turns on. I'm sure I just turned on everybody's right now. But there is a way, I guess, that you can do it, and they're calling it some kind of a hotkey where you can turn it on for a short amount of time, and it'll just kind of listen to everything that you're saying or key on keywords. Well, he didn't turn this on. He went to check his log to see what it was recording, and it was recording everything. Every conversation, even the television, it was recording that and then just not responding, just recording things. And he went and checked his log for that, and clearly that's not what he enabled it to do. Contacted Google. They were so paranoid about it, they sent out an actual engineer to his house. I'm sure for a normal person, you're not going to get that if you work for Android Patrol or Android Police. Yeah, that's when you get that kind of treatment.
Android Patrol.
Yeah, Android Patrol. I'm sure there's somebody out
There
there.
is an Android Patrol.
I think that's it. So they sent him out, and they said that it was a software glitch. They've since sent out a software update to keep that from happening. And what it was digitally, it was enabling this constant recording. But it sent all that information to Google. And that's the concern. I mean, that's like the ultimate paranoia when it comes to home assistants, I think.
Well, how many of these have they sold is what I wonder. And if it's... Like, if this is one, like, that is...
This is one with a guy who knew what to check for and knew how to look.
Right, it's got to happen on other ones. This is just like too much of an anomaly for it to be just one. You know,
exactly. Yeah, you would think so. So that's
which is kind of crazy, but it's also like, did we not kind of expect this to happen? They tell us that it's not going to record our every word, and so we just like willingly let these into our house and just take them at their word for what? Like what evidence have they given us in the past? I guess like you can check your logs to see what's going through to kind of double check it, but I think we've just sort of been okay with maybe they'll record everything we say.
But I mean, that's a slippery slope if we're just like,
absolutely,
whatever. Yeah, it's gonna happen.
I think people are though. I guess maybe I haven't looked into it too much and before they've been released as to like what kind of evidence they show you that it won't actually record you, other than them saying it won't.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of it. Yeah, you do have to take them.
You just trust them like 100%. And you have more experience with these than I do. Like, you might know a little bit more about what that rollout looks like when they do it. But I mean, are we just taking them at their word and just trusting them wholeheartedly when there's no evidence?
Well, those of us that trust them are trusting them. Yeah, for sure. Anybody who owns an Echo or a Google Home speaker variant expects to be listened to and to interact and talk with these things. And I bring this up a lot every time we talk about, voice-enabled devices. There are so many things that could be recording you. Yeah. Your laptop, your computer if you have a USB microphone on it, your phone. I mean, look, there's tons of devices. If Xbox Connect, if you have one of those abominations, it's there's so many different devices. Your smart TV, your Roku remote, and I'm just scratching the surface. So. We've allowed these devices to come in our home. We're expecting them to work only as they are promised to. And, we're putting a lot of trust in those people. And, of course, there's going to be conspiracy theorists who say, they're going to, record stuff that you don't expect to be recording. This happens with smart TVs, right, where they're sending data back to LG or Samsung.
Who was it that had the big issue a couple years ago?
Almost every major TV manufacturer has had a moment in which it was exposed that it was sending data that it probably shouldn't have been sending. So I'm not going to call out any one particular manufacturer because they've all screwed up in some small way. But we're putting a lot of trust out there, and this has been the discussion that we've been having since more so since the Echo came out, right? Because the idea of the always listening, like it can't understand that you just said Alexa or OK Google, and I'm sure I just sent a bunch of speakers off into a tizzy, but there's no way it can understand that you just said that without being in some sort of detection mode, at all times. So we're trusting that the trigger word is what's starting the interaction, and that's what's happened here. There was no trigger word. Yeah. It was just always, not just always listening, but always recording. Yeah. That's the distinction.
Recording
that's
and sending a log of that to Google.
Now, for me, I'm not typically, terribly worried about that. In fact, I'm getting a lot of heat on our Google Home Mini review video posted on YouTube right now because for whatever reason, when I shot the review video, I ordered Pantene, I ordered shampoo from Target, and then for the Chromecast interaction, I put Lady Gaga videos up on the screen, and everybody's like, "What, bro? What are you doing? How do we take you seriously as a tech reviewer when you're doing I'm not really worried about Google finding out about my Gaga tendencies, but there is stuff that goes down in your home. Like we know that Google gathers tons of data about our browsing habits, and they market it to us. You can't shop for something on Amazon without it showing up in your Facebook feed anymore. Yep. And we were appalled at that when it came out, but now we're just kind of used to it. Is it fleecing? I don't know. Like we're just sort of.
And the worst case scenario that I see with this is, what are they going to do with that data that they're listening to? Well, they're going to market to you. Yeah. Like that's the worst that's going to happen is all of a sudden they're going to be able to target your AdSense better. And that's, I mean.
You hope that's the worst thing to do. I mean,
slippery slope.
But the slope stops somewhere. Yeah. So, I mean, that is kind of a weird, like we can sit here and think about like, okay, so Amazon's going to take over the world with Alexa, but probably not. Like, it's a company that's interested in its bottom line, and the best way to boost its bottom line is by getting in this data to market to you better, and that's what's going to happen.
I appreciate Apple's approach, with this. Like, they're gathering data and they're using it, but they're very, very vocal about how, about their privacy of their users, and they defend them, when they wouldn't allow the cops to open up that shooter's phone. For
FBI,
instance, in the San Bernardino.
Yeah.
And so I know that they're out there vehemently fighting for privacy. You know, I'm sure they're maybe doing some sketchy stuff here and there, but at least I feel more comfortable about interacting with an Apple device. I wish that Amazon and maybe even Google were a little bit more vocal about saying, listen, we will protect this information to the ends of the earth, but don't lie to me either. Be honest, like Brendan said. You're going to use this to market to me, you know? And at the end of the day, frankly, I'd rather, you know, see an ad for a really cool new Bluetooth speaker than, you know, a box of tampons. You know,
something that you want. I mean, that's the positive side of it. It's they are getting stuff in front of you that you will want, not random ads. But then it's also just a little bit unnerving to think that someone's listening to this at all times, if they are, you know, or it is getting stored somewhere. Because I don't know, maybe it doesn't really matter if you don't know the person, but if you're having like a personal conversation with somebody and there is a third party listening, I think if you think about it too much, it can creep you out. Yeah.
It's like, oh, they're in a fight. You should order flowers. Like,
that would be really funny. But yeah, I don't know. I guess you're right. This does have to stop somewhere.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's not. I don't. It's weird, and there is some creepiness to it, but I also don't see it as like this weird conspiracy theory.
You're not as paranoid as I am.
But that's how it happens, though, right? Yeah, it's these little incremental steps that you accept slowly over time, and then before you know, you've given your whole life away. You know.
But if we look around, we might already be there.
We don't really have a choice. Cameras are everywhere.
What is the worst thing that could happen with this data?
1984.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And so that's the other side of the spectrum.
I don't want
to be somewhere in the middle. Right?
I don't want to be profiled by information that they gather that's totally private. So you know, I don't want to be turned down for a home loan because somebody learned that, you know, maybe I was having some financial troubles, you know, or about
stuff that's spoken behind closed doors,
or about to go through a divorce or whatever. You
know. And both Google Home and Amazon Alexa just came out. Amazon's Alexa came out with this too. They can now start to distinguish voices. Yep. So Alexa, the update I think just came out. You can train it if you have one of those.
Last week.
Yeah, testing out that. So Alexa rolled it out too. You can train it to identify just your voice. Which I mean, the implications of that, if they eventually. Because I mean, really, the Alexa just works because of your phone app. Like if your app starts connecting to different devices, it means you could go somewhere and just say your thing, and it would know everything about you, no matter where you were. Like say you go to a hotel in Vegas, it's already hello, Greg, blah 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 blah. You know, and it knows exactly what you want, what you like. I mean, there's some advantages there just from a consumer standpoint that would be pretty cool. You know, it's already adapted, but at the same time,
there's security issues
everybody.
too. Yeah. Remember how we were talking about how we, you know, there was a big concern about being able to speak through an open window and say, "Alexa, open the door," and it would unlock the door with the smart lock. Like, who's to say that it was you that was saying it? Right? It could be a prowler. Well, this takes care of that. Now we're actually starting to see security built in around the individual users. So you're not going to be able to buy products on my account or open my door or open my garage or disable my alarm system, all of which you can use Alexa for. It has to be you or another approved voice for that thing. I think it's more than just a really cool but
it has to train it. You have to actually get them onto your app.
They have to sign in with an app, be granted access. You know, basically your Wi-Fi is the first line of defense. If somebody can hack your Wi-Fi though, you know, then they can get in and start setting stuff up. But it's more than just a cool feature and that adds personalization. I think it's going to add a certain level of security to the mix as well.
It was a problem that they created first, though. It's just funny.
Yeah, they did.
Like they created that problem, and they're like, oh, but now it's new and improved, and this is what you need better. Only because they created that specific issue that they needed to fix, and that's great for sure. But it's just funny that they're fixing that. It's so good for people to have in their home because it's fixing a problem that same company created for them.
Right.
You know, it's just a unique problem.
But it's packaged as look how customizable things are.
Sure, and then they sell you on this bigger picture. Right?
I mean, there aren't many companies better at marketing than Amazon or Google. Right. I mean, they are pretty damn good. Apple's right up there, but they'll convince you that they're doing you a favor. Is how it ends up working. And I'm getting way too paranoid about it.
Like, you liked the Google Mini, didn't you? I don't know.
I think it does some really cool stuff. Yeah, absolutely. I think the Google Assistant has its advantages, especially if you're a Chromecast user. You know, you can send video and music all over your house. You know,
not that I want to go into it too much. Just your honest opinion. Would you buy for yourself? Would you buy a Home Mini or an Alexa? An Echo Dot.
What about the third one though? You were telling me about. I don't know if we can even talk about it yet. Is it embargoed or anything? But
no, it's the Sonos the Sonos One. speakers. So the Sonos took their Play 1 speaker, and they've added Alexa capability to it. So right now, well, once the speakers are shipping, you can activate it, and it's cool because they customized it. You don't even have to say Alexa. You can just say, do this thing, and it will do the thing. They're also adding Google Assistant to the same speaker. So now we're starting to see speakers that can handle multiple digital assistants and not just the one. So yeah, I mean, you don't have to decide about whether you want to go with a Google speaker or a Home Mini or an Echo Dot or any other size variant. You can go with a speaker that does all of it. And we might see Cortana. There's going to be some Siri integration down the road as well. So yeah, these little walled gardens, they're going to start getting broken down.
And with Sonos too, I mean, just the audio quality too is something.
The best sounding option out there right now.
Well, speaking of something that does all of it at once, let's talk about this other thing, Movies Anywhere, which we wanted to bring up here. So Disney, and it's Disney's app, and I know it was. Okay, so I know, Caleb, you are the expert on this because I know how excited you are about Movies Anywhere.
I am, and before you say, oh gosh, another digital movie service, it's not that, right? So I don't know about you guys, but if I buy movies from different places, like if I actually want to own them and not just stream them or rent them. And sometimes it makes more sense to just buy it anyway because you're spending $5 for the rental, $8 for the purchase. Why not just buy it? And you can watch it again later, especially for people who have kids, and kids love to rewatch stuff over and over and over. But the problem is, and especially if you get your digital download codes from a Blu-ray combo pack, and I know that, discs for a lot of people are dead, but a lot of people are still buying that, and they get that free digital download code. But when you go to redeem that digital download code, you usually are forced to pick a service for it to go live at. It's either Vudu or iTunes, and that's if you get a choice at all. With Amazon, it's always, it's been relegated mostly to Amazon. You go to Amazon to stream that movie. And now you've got 4 different services. Google Play's out there now too with Ultra HD HDR content. So you've got iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, and Vudu, all really popular services. Your digital download code might go to one or the other, but usually not both. And so now you have 4 different places where your owned movies are living. Movies Anywhere was originally a Disney property, and it only applied to Disney and Pixar movies, right? But they recently brought on a whole bunch of big major movie studios, Warner Brothers, Universal. I think Paramount is one of the last big holdouts right now. So not all of them, but most of them, which means there's a massive catalog that is available. And what you do is you go to Movies Anywhere. It's totally free. You just sign yourself up. You can sign in using Google or Facebook or create your own login and connect it to those accounts, and it brings them all together in one place. And so you don't have to know where that one movie you bought is hiding or access that one particular app. Just the one app gets you access to all your digital movies in one spot. It's awesome. I love it.
That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I can understand that. And I don't buy that many movies online. So I guess it's, for me, it hasn't been an issue because I mostly just stream things. But I can totally understand, especially having a kid, like you were saying. You buy a lot of these movies and all kinds of different places. What a pain in the ass.
Well, if you really want to watch, the latest blockbuster hit, your options are these days go to Redbox, which means you got to go somewhere, or rent or purchase. And again, I think a lot of people just don't purchase because it's kind of a hassle. Look, I'll just rent it, I'll watch it now, and I'll be done with it. But if you want to have that movie, and again, if you buy discs, still, and you get that free code, and you want to be able to watch that anywhere, this is a great little solution.
Movies
just came out today. Check it out.
So you can get this anywhere right now. Like literally, movies anywhere.
In the U.S., I think it'll deploy to other markets soon.
Okay.
But
that is really cool. And there's a whole article about this at digitaltrends.com too that you can check out. It sounds like Paramount was just holding out for some financial things, but I'm going to guess if everybody else is involved, they'll jump in too.
They'll definitely jump in. Oh, and here's the other thing that's really cool about it. You can shop around for the best price. For instance, right now, Blade Runner is available all the way up into 4K HDR on, we'll say Vudu and Google Play. Okay. One of the vendors has it for $10. The other one has it for $30. The exact same quality of the movie. Yeah, exactly. I want to buy the $10 version, but maybe I don't usually put all my movies on Google Play or whatever. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Just go buy the least expensive one, and boom, it's going to be in your Movies Anywhere library. So
that's pretty cool.
It empowers the consumer. I don't know how long that's going to last before these vendors all collude and say, you know what, let's just all offer it at the same price. And I think, but competition right now exists. So you can buy the least expensive version, and it'll just be in the one spot. You don't have to worry about, going off to various different apps and remembering where you bought which movie.
Very cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
All right, so Movies Anywhere, check that out. Like I said, digitaltrends.com. You can take a look at that. Also on the website, we have a new feature that just came up today, and I wanted to bring it up just for a second. It's an interesting idea, and it comes from Jeremy Kaplan, who went and our editor-in-chief, who went and researched this and did all the interviews for it. And it has to do with the headphones company, Headphones and Cables, Monster. And Monster, if completely different line of business, their new CEO is getting them into online gambling. And it's a really complicated process, but this guy has figured out how to navigate a very complex legal system to work it out, to have it on a Native American tribe, like have be the host of it, to where online gambling can be legal in the U.S. It's a really fascinating story.
The story is crazy. Yeah, even the video that we did for it too is pretty wild. But yeah, that Fred Khalilian.
Khalilian, yeah.
With Noah Lee at Monster as well too, which is an interesting thing if they're going to be able to bring it back. I know that this Fred guy has like a pretty shady past.
Yeah,
it's
super.
If you go read the article, I know Jeremy.
It's
didn't
shady
really
AF,
spare any
man.
punches too on it.
No,
as well.
he's being honest.
He's been
it's
accused
all
as a rapist.
right out there.
Yeah. And he addressed it too. I think it looks in the video we have. It looks like he came to our New York office, sat down, and was very candid with Jeremy and everyone in the New York office about his past and what he's done. But yeah, I mean, there's like rape allegations out there. He's been fined by the FTC multi-millions of dollars. There's
banned from telemarketing vacation packages.
Yeah, exactly.
Shares.
Like all sorts of stuff. And like there's like a CBS reporter or something that has we quoted that she hopes he's just in jail where he should spend the rest of his days. So this guy's like, pretty shady and like
shady.
has a weird like kind of history to him. And so it was an incredible story that Jeremy put together here, and kind of a funny look at something that was so huge in the 2000s, online gambling and like basically online poker, and it just like went away because everyone finally like dropped the hammer on it. It was just like you're done.
Yep.
And for it to come back in this way, and it seems like he found a loophole in some way to bring it back, will be interesting. I mean, this guy thinks he's going to be worth more than Uber if this thing actually takes off, which is like could be a game changer for.
Yeah,
like
at least until they close that loophole.
Yeah, exactly.
But if he did figure that out, that's pretty genius.
For sure.
I mean, it's hard not to perceive the story as something of a character assassination because we do have to acknowledge all of the, bits and pieces of the guy's past.
You could just Google the guy.
Very unsavory. And so you have to wonder, where, and it's also a very clever move. So it kind of plays into that. I'll find a hole to punch through and go with it. But I think the other part of the story is that Monster's involved at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I've interviewed Noah Lee, met him many times. We've talked. The guy genuinely loves great sound. He's an audiophile. He loves music. They've been trying. They got really screwed from their Beats by Dre deal. They were the ones that made the headphones, voiced the headphones, and Dre and his cadre kind of slapped their marketing beef behind it, and they sold a ton of them. But because of the legal setup, Monster ended up not getting much out of that whole arrangement. And then Beats by Dre took off. They started their own headphone line. It hasn't gained the same kind of traction that Beats by Dre did. We're going increasingly wireless, and so high-end cables, which is where they started, are going away now, and plus there's a ton of players in that market now that make some just really crazy stuff. So it's kind of spreading the small user base that would actually pay for stuff like that super thin. Plus you got Monoprice selling stuff that works just great for next to nothing, right?
Yeah.
So Monster has had an identity crisis for a while, and they've been trying to figure out what they're going to do to stay relevant. And this seems like some kind of weird salvation,
Yeah.
It puts Monster in a bunch of new places, and it gives it that company an opportunity to sell its wares to an entirely new audience while, just reaping a huge amount of revenue out of online gaming.
Yeah.
It's a massive market, and they would be the only legal player. Crazy, absolutely crazy. But it all feels super shady and dodgy to me.
Super shady. I mean, it'll be interesting if it happens. He says he wants to have it launched, I think it was December 5th or December 15th. And the website's PokerTribe.com is what he's going for. But I wanted to bring it up because I highly suggest reading this article. It's fascinating, whether it works or not. Just seeing what it is they're doing and reading the history of this guy. You know, he could be shady and a genius or whatever he is. It's really fascinating.
Yeah, it's crazy because when online poker was going around like in the mid 2000s, like a lot of them were based at like overseas where like they could get away with it or whatnot, and then they just started being
Cayman
taken down.
Islands
And,
and-
right. So like just like the concept of online gaming itself is just a shady thing, and for this like equally shady person to kind of enter into it, but then backed by a company like Monster. This is just like the next few months are going to be crazy, and it's so cool that we were able to get like the exclusive on this and like to have this published. I can only imagine sort of the road that Jeremy went down, even just researching this over the last couple months. You know,
he said he really went down the rabbit hole. Why is it shady though? You know, let's ask ourselves that question. Why don't we? Why is online gaming such a big deal?
Like
you know?
gambling is a taboo, seeing like that, right? And
Or is it an addiction? It ruins lives.
It can be both. I mean, there's also if you have people gambling online. Look at just the state gambling system. That's money going somewhere online that they're not getting.
And there's the issue of like taking a rake, and if you take a rake, then where does that rake go? That's why like we couldn't start a casino in Portland, or we can host poker games. So that as soon as I start taking a rake from what you guys are making, then that's illegal.
Yeah,
you know, because then I have to put that rake somewhere and get taxed on it. And the reason that like you can do it on Indian reservations is that they can take the rake and keep it, right? And that's why they make so much money.
Yeah.
But we could go to Lincoln City and gamble tonight if we wanted to, you know. And most people have somewhat close access.
Hell,
to it.
we got the A Casino right up I-5 now.
Yeah.
It's closer and closer and closer.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I think there was just like a big taboo stamp slapped on online poker, or at least online gambling in the mid 2000s. When they started falling, people just got away
because they couldn't regulate it.
I think that's it. There's so much money to be made. Who's getting the cut?
Yeah, it's like Poker Star. There was
if it's
so
somebody
many
on
companies.
if it's all going to the Cayman Islands, then they're going to be pissed because they're not getting paid. But it'll be interesting to see how this all works.
Yeah.
So definitely check that article out at Digital.
Would you guys play? I guess real quick at the end. Would you? Guys?
Probably not. I don't really like gambling. So
Fair enough.
Man, I just started investing in the stock market, and I already feel like I'm gambling. I'm already checking my app to see how much money I've lost. I already made one unwise investment, and I'm regretting it. So not going to do it.
I'm not a huge gambler either. I like the experience of going to a casino or going to Vegas, and I'll have whatever money I set aside for gambling that week, and if I lose it, okay, cool. If I win, great. But I'm not a huge gambler, so I don't know if I would do it. I'm too stingy.
I played a lot of online poker in college.
Yeah,
but
I know. I can kind of feel that maybe you did.
I'm not like necessarily standing up for it for any minute.
Yeah.
But it was like
I mean, nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, right.
I
enjoyed it. I played it. Yeah, but nothing that was like in over my head gambling. You know.
Yeah, I'm also not good at it. So that's
fair
what
enough.
Yeah. So anyway, check that all
There's
out.
a bookie out there. I hope he's not listening.
Dutch elbow or whatever.
Yeah.
It was? Okay. So
Dutch elbow.
that's entirely new.
maybe I had it wrong. Yeah. All right, so
That's a little
let's
risque.
get on to our last couple of topics here that we have before we wrap this up. I want to talk about Facebook's announcements just because I really like virtual reality, and I think one of the big issues has been is how cost prohibitive it is to get into the high end stuff. And I'm talking about like HTC Vive or Oculus Rift, because you need this huge, very powerful computer to run it, and you're tethered to it by a cord. This is an announcement that Oculus made about their next generation, about what's going to come out, and it's Project Santa Cruz, and it is going to be a completely cordless, self-sustained unit. So you won't need the computer attached to it. Ostensibly, this is what they're saying is going to be happening. And I just love the idea of this. Even their demo that they show, and we've got a video that we're playing right now if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're listening via podcast, you can go click on this at digitaltrends.com. Their new controllers and everything, it just looks slick. And I think it's something that once you get this out there, it's going to be way more easily adopted by everyone.
This guy with the freestyle.
You don't even have to go to the rave anymore.
You don't have, the rave will come to you.
Yep.
Yeah, it's basically that's what it is. You can rave in your house and go online gambling with
twist
it.
those.
I got to admit that it's because I'm a tech journalist that I know for a fact that the reason that I just don't give a crap about VR anymore is because I'm constantly hearing about it, and I've experienced it a couple of times.
It's just too much. You're burnt out on it.
I just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I know I'm in the minority there, and that's fine. I should be more excited about this because from a tech standpoint, it's a huge development. But how much action it's going to pick up, I don't know. You figure, hey, those guys at Facebook are pretty smart. Old Zuck knows what he's doing, so I guess there's a good reason to do this.
I just don't
Maybe
think
I'm just an old fart. I don't know.
There yet.
I don't know if it ever is going to. I think they're missing their window. I really feel like they're missing their window. So unless this comes out and it's got the experiences, because the same thing, I will say the same thing I always say about any VR like iteration. It's got to have the experiences. And if I'm just going to be walking through like a video game level that I've played before or something like that, that's not it. And I don't want to watch a movie in VR. Like that's that.
You're looking for a different level of immersiveness than what they're offering.
You have to. There's something there that can be done, but they haven't figured out what that something is yet.
Do you know what it is that you would want out of a VR experience? Like, what are you looking for?
What I'm looking for out of any sort of experience like that is actually augmented reality. Like, I am way more interested in something like that.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, we don't need to be like building out like some world that I can walk in my room, whereas like, go outside and change what I'm looking at right in front of me. That's also right. It kind of creates this weird like fuzziness between your imagination and what's really right there. And there's some cool implications there, but like VR, like, it's just
I tend to see VR more as a toy and AR more as a tool. You know, in the grand potential scheme of things.
Sure.
Certainly there are applications for VR that go beyond just, having fun watching it's beyond entertainment,
education.
You can definitely go the education route, and that's true. I think AR has more potential as an educational tool.
Absolutely.
I tend to use the same example, but if I need to fix something in my car and I don't really need to know how to do it, I'm just going to load up the fix the fuel pump program for that car. And it's gonna tell me, go here, go there, unscrew that thing, replace this part. It's just gonna walk me.
It'll point right at it,
which would be amazing
because that's what we do now, right? We go to YouTube and we watch the how-to video, but there's a disconnect between going to that screen and then going back to the actual thing and trying to match it up. Plus, you don't necessarily get the angle that you want to. Some of these guys are not great camera people when they're shooting their videos.
Or they rush past a really important piece that you need to understand.
Right. But one step you always rewind and keep watching.
Like, what is he saying there?
But, I mean, and cooking, too. The possibilities are endless. That's why, I'm with Brendan. I think that AR has got way more promise, and that's where we should be putting our efforts. And VR is just, I don't know, man. I think there's just been so much noise, and I'm over it.
I think real quick. I think it's interesting that they're going the wireless route, but like what you said too. I mean, it still tethers you to a room, even if you're not physically tethered to a machine.
Does it need the sensors, right?
You need the sensors, so you can't go anywhere. But with AR, you can literally walk outside if you want to, walk around your living room. You don't have to really worry about running into anything because you can see what's in front of you. Yet you're still kind of messing with your immediate environment, And to the tool aspect, I mean that. The reason why there's the HoloLens on the space station is because of that exact thing. Yeah. They're able to relay messages from people on ground and help them fix what's broken on the space station, and that's crazy. And I think anything VR is even accomplished.
That is legit. Also, puking. Let's not forget that VR is jarring for a lot of people, and I don't know that that's something that humanity is going to grow out of. Right. I don't think that younger generations are going to grow up with it and therefore not experience the vertigo. I think vertigo is vertigo, and you get it or you don't.
Everyone has an inner ear.
Exactly.
If you have one, it's going to be
biologically speaking, we're kind of going outside of the bounds of what's comfortable for a lot of people.
But I think that's probably something they can remedy.
Well, there was that tool I'm sure there's. Was it like last year we brought that tool in? It was like you wear it on your wrist, and we played the space game, and he tried to make you get motion sick to see if it would actually help you not.
Wait,
they would figure out some way,
but it still made everybody sick.
Yeah, it didn't work. Well, and that's the thing.
That's just like taking that's like the tab that you put on your neck when you go on a cruise, right? It's just like nah.
And the thing too is like AR to me, like there's like you said, so many real world applications from like cooking and all that stuff to the military. There's tons of stuff that you can do with AR. Whereas VR, it feels like a weird arm that's grew out of the video game industry. And it's like you got like not only is it a niche industry there with video game industry, it's a niche of a niche of a niche. Like
you just don't think it's going to be adopted.
I just don't think we're going to see people like jacking into the Matrix en masse.
Right.
I wish we could have a fourth person in this conversation because I know Nick Moki really likes VR, and he's one of the people in the office who really he enjoys it a lot. He's been to like film festivals for them, and he's like one of the biggest proponents in our office for VR, and I would be curious to hear his point of view on this.
Well,
I think the three of us are like, we don't care that much.
I mean, I'm definitely interested in it, although I have not tried it as much as probably you guys have.
You've done like the sports, like you've watched the basketball games.
The basketball games, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Like those kinds of experiences, like and
you're also not moving.
And I know we need to move on because I think we're about out of time here.
Yeah.
But the education aspect, like going to I want to go tour a museum in Cairo or something like that, and have that. Be an experience that
that's
you can
cool. You
walk
go
through.
places that you'll never really end up getting
pyramids
to.
or something.
or just like go to actually, something like that.
It's like, but with AR though too, you could take those to a museum here, and you would get like
then you get more information.
The bones of a dinosaur or something that gives you all this information.
Right.
Anyways, we could go on forever.
I think there's a case to be made that VR could be like a complement to AR rather than
you switch it on or switch it
off.
Real quick, when was the first time you heard of VR or saw a concept?
1995.
Hackers.
Lawnmower Man.
Lawnmower Man, 1992. That was it for me.
Yeah.
That's 25 years, bro.
Yeah.
25 years we've been trying to get this, and we're still not there. Just think about that.
It was also super basic VR, though, in 92. Like, NES-style graphics.
But it's also pretty basic. It just looks better.
I'm not even defending it all. Absolutely. Unless you can get stuff that, like, you can stream something in 4K, but you're never going to get that experience. I think even, like, people who made Crysis, right, had that game that Brad played, and even then he said there was still something missing, and it's like great looking graphics, great looking game, but there's still something missing, Maybe it's like your mind, maybe we're just too smart
It's
to
not
know
tangible.
that we're not like inside that.
Not going to get fooled.
Yeah.
Greg wants to move on so bad.
Only because I know that we're going over, and I think our producer's got to get out of here. But yeah, this could be a whole entire episode. So I think we may need to do an episode just discussing this because I want to get some more opinions on it too. The final thing I wanted to get though, and this is the reason I'm in a hurry because this is the most important thing to talk about: silicon robot hands. So it is this. This could be a way that VR could be used. It is called. It was developed in Singapore by a company called AI Treat. And
where are we going with this?
And it is
I see where we're going.
Called the Expert Manipulative Massage Automation, or EMMA for short. It is a robot masseuse that they have developed, and they've actually carefully made the sensors on this thing to feel like skin, and it's a robotic hand. I mean, it doesn't look like a hand. That the fingers are kind of balled up like a fist, like an actual massage therapist, and then it's even got a thumb on it that will massage your back. And the video kind of demonstrates this person smiling while while it's rubbing on their bare back.
I understand why we're all making fun of this, and I want to as well. But hold on, this could legitimately be a huge breakthrough for physical therapy.
Yeah.
And I mean, I suffer back problems, but I can't go into the chiropractor all the time. I can't afford a massage all the time, from a professional. My girlfriend has, a cervical spine injury, and so she has chronic migraine headaches. And I try to, give her massages to relieve that. But dang it, every night I get to give a massage? No. And we were just talking about how. Sorry, that was selfish.
I feel you.
I really hit it.
That voice is not Caleb Dennison. That's not Caleb. If you're listening, that voice was not Caleb.
No, she knows. We were talking about this. We need a machine that you can pick up that is not one of these crappy shiatsu chairs or neck brace thingies that just have no intelligence and no precision whatsoever. This is something that should be machinated, and it looks like it finally is. And that's awesome. I developed the crap out of this.
It is actually in use in Singapore right now. You rent it for $2,200 a month. Is what the rent is.
Pop by Singapore in December when you're in
I'll just cruise on through.
It's only like an 8-hour
Pick
flight.
one of those up and
I'm looking for Emma. Need to get a massage.
I need a treat.
From AI Treat.
I need an AI treat.
There you go. So maybe this thing will be a really cool development. I mean, it is pretty neat what they're doing.
I'm sorry.
They're doing it right now to assist
make so many
regular
jokes. I ruined it.
massage therapists.
Happy ending jokes we can make galore, right?
Yeah.
But you could put these like halls of these in physical therapy treatment centers, and instead of paying either your deductible or whatever it is to go see that person, you could have 50 of these in a room.
Or just have it at the mall. It's $10
Yeah,
for
give people
10
quick
minutes.
treatment. You're in, you're out. You don't even see your doctor, and it's like maybe $10 or whatever a visit.
Yeah.
And I imagine you'd go.
I know that there's a whole massage therapy industry that's like, come on, another robot taking my job situation. But frankly, if it can do it better, and it has to have the intelligence behind it. It has to understand the problem is here. I need to work this particular area, and this particular area is located here. That's hard to figure out. So it's a huge nut to crack, but if they could get there, that would be amazing.
I mean, even if it was like complemented of like the human element of like, oh hey, I'm gonna help you through this, and this machine is going to totally like take care of your back. Like,
I don't think it would be. I don't know. It's tough because you can talk to your masseuse when you're there to let them know kind of hot spots or where you want them to go.
And that's what they're talking about
the
is
soothing music.
They don't want to. They're not taking the job of a masseuse. They're helping.
It's like facilitating care.
They're helping them take care of like the things that take up too much of their time. And then concentrating on like the specific stuff. They said
I can't wait till I can just go, Alexa, work my L3, and it happens. You know, that'll be awesome. I look forward to that day.
Alexa, Dutch corner. All right. So what was it again?
Dutch angle.
Dutch angle.
Thank you.
Dutch corner, elbow. Just put a Dutch on it.
Put your silicone hands on my
Dutch oven.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to say thank you to everybody tuning in. So we broadcast live on YouTube today. Normally we're on Facebook as well. So you can always check that out every Thursday, 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. And we have the podcast available on iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you get podcasts. Check all of those out and send us emails, podcast@digitaltrends.com. Let us know what you think of all this. Check out all the articles or everything we talked about at the website. We'll be back next week with another episode.
Call up Facebook.